not necessarily coincide with those of our ownership, management, or staff.
Welcome to Tech Talk 2020 with Sanjay Parker. I'm Sanjay Parker, your host, and we are live streaming on Facebook, and we're also live streaming on Ustream, and we're going to get out to YouTube. We're going to be all over the place, so thank you guys for joining us. Happy last day of Movember for those supporting the cause around mental health issues, prostate cancer, all of those things. I did support it. I did not raise a campaign, but I donated to people who really don't normally have facial hair. I can grow this in about 6 hours, so I don't want to put people to shame. So how are you doing, Mike?
Welcome to Tech Talk 2020, Sanjay, and everybody else out there listening in Radio Land and YouTube Land and Facebook Land. We're glad to have you here. We are here on AM 1330 AM and also on 101.5 FM on your radio dial here in beautiful Lake County. But you can also hear us internationally on WINTradio.com. You realize that internationally.
Very cool.
And during our show, if you get something hot in your brain, Tech Talk 2020 is our Twitter handle. Also, we're on Facebook. As you can see, we're on Facebook Live at Tech Talk 2020 as well. So tune in. Let us know what's happening in your life, and let's talk technology.
Thanks to our Facebook viewers. Today, we're going to be talking about TV technology, big screen TV technology, and what you need to know before you buy that new device. There's so many options out there, so many price ranges. Let's talk about those today. But before we start,
yes,
I want to give a shout-out to my awesome friends who have given me random gifts recently. It might be a joke, but I'm pretty appreciative.
Gifts.
My friend James Schleicher from IBB, you'd see this logo all over the place. The guy is crazy. Him and Gary Caldican on social media, they're all over the place. But while he was at my house and I was telling everybody about, one of my deepest, darkest secrets, that I love Knight Rider.
Okay, Kit.
I know. Kit.
Boy, yeah. I did a report on that show one time.
He was ordering me my little own Knight Rider model kit here, and it's amazing. It's like something from literally many years ago, and he got it on Amazon, and it came.
Wow. David Hasselhoff.
Don't hassle the Hoff.
Don't hassle the Hoff. That's early in his acting career.
And then my friend Jason Miller, who somehow found a Knight Rider kit USB car charger that you plug into your cigarette lighter, and it talks, and it has all these buttons like turbo boost and all this stuff. Absolutely has made my week. It's been pretty cool. So thanks, guys.
I'm thrilled. That's pretty good. That was a nice commercial you got there, James.
So as we talk about friends and gifts, we
yes.
think about some of the gifts that we buy ourselves for the holidays or for Super Bowl Sunday.
Today's my wife's birthday.
And these are big screens. Yes, happy birthday. Let's give a shout out
to Mrs.
Diane.
Carswell.
Yes,
Hey.
Mrs. Carswell.
Yep. But I got her a couple nice gifts too. So, but she'll tell you about them if she wants you to know about them. So.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
We're gonna have cheesecake tonight, though. That's pretty cool for birthday cake.
Did you make it?
No.
Oh.
We want it to be really good, man. What are you talking about?
All right. That's
I can
awesome.
eat it, though. I'm very good at that.
So, TVs, some people have said TVs are the windows into other people's souls. I don't know how many people have said that, but pretty cool thing. There's been all kinds of technology. You mentioned that you had a Trinitron TV.
Well, we're going to talk TVs. We got to roll the tape back a little bit. So I remember my first television was in our first color television came into the house in 1969. And our first show I saw on that color television, I remember, was Gilligan's Island. I don't remember what episode, but I do remember seeing Gilligan's Island. And I don't have that television anymore. I know you think I might still have it, but I don't have it.
I thought you said you had it.
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
But that was a long time ago. But no, I'm slow to adapt to stuff, so help me out with the whole television world.
So back in the old days.
I remember them.
You used to have these little transistor tubes that went in the televisions, and if one would burn out, you'd replace it. It was kind of self-service.
TV repairman was busy.
Yeah, those things were awesome. And then you had something called a cathode ray tube, big, heavy glass TVs. I mean, we've all seen them, but there's so many things. The pace of innovation on televisions. Projection, rear screen projection, internal with the little lamps, RGB. Yeah, absolutely cool stuff. Then we had plasmas. And the problem with plasmas, and part of the reason why they went out of style, is because it's really gas within two thin panes of glass.
Wow.
And it was, really good. They had blacks, you got really good color, rich blacks. but they were just very expensive. They decayed over time. Those gases would leak. And so anyway, it was just very expensive to do. And so they kind of went out of favor.
Are there probably no plasmas around still because of the technology failure?
There's still some high-end ones. And it
Okay,
wasn't really a
okay.
failure. It was just, the life expectancy versus cost. So what really put plasma screens out of business is LCDs.
Uh-huh.
So LCDs came out so cheap. Like, think about your
what's
monitors.
LCD stand for? Everyone out there?
Liquid crystal diode, right? And so
You'll be quizzed because
it's
we're getting
based-
smarter together. Liquid crystal diode.
So what happens is there's a
Can
backlight behind the screen that just lights up everything, and these liquid crystals light up and they change colors. And the problem with that technology is you don't really get a black, meaning if you've got a scene with a dark scene and there's a black car or something, it'd look kind of gray because there's still white light behind it. So even though LCDs were cheap, they never offered a real video file quality.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to tell you guys what to look for when you're buying a new TV. We're going to talk about resolution. We're going to talk about technology behind it. We're going to talk about refresh rate. And we're going to talk about whether you need a smart screen or a smart TV or not. And I think those are...
Resolution?
Yeah, I think those are the 4 key performance indicators we should use to determine what we want. In fact, actually, there's a great website out there that I discovered that you guys can go to kind of see what you might, what kind of TV might be right for you. So let's start off with technology. So we talked about CRT, then LCD came out, or plasma, then LCD. Then we started having things like LED.
Yes.
So light emitting.
What's
diode.
light emitting diode?
Right.
All right.
And so now each of these little elements on the screen emit their own light. They don't need a backlight. It offered us, the best of both worlds. So we had plasma quality for the dark colors without the backlight, and we had LCD economies of scale, meaning it's not that expensive, and it's just an electronic manufacturing process that allowed us to create this over and over again.
Wow. So you can really kind of get deep in the weeds with this pretty quickly.
This is so fun. But LEDs you definitely want because they use much less power than even LCDs, which use much less power than the traditional TV boxes. We talked about carbon footprint earlier today, Mike,
Sure.
on a different topic. And, we'd like to get your carbon footprint down to like maybe a carbon fingerprint. That's my
I got
goal.
a big foot, though.
Exactly. So
I wear a size 13, everybody.
so we want to, you save money too, and you help
Sure.
the environment by going to these newer technologies. Definitely LED. I would say if you're going to get a TV set, make sure you get at least an LED TV set. Now, the other thing is there's something called OLED. It's organic light emitting diodes. So there's actually living things.
Man,
Kind of
like
living,
I said, the
but,
weeds are
kind
getting
of
deep here, brother.
Yeah.
We're
Think
getting
of it
smarter
as-
together, though,
as
guys.
an organic substance, and each of these little pixels on the screen
Uh-huh.
can fluoresce in their own color, and they don't need power to stay fluoresced. So, it's just amazing how it's done. They've got, you're not seeing this in the TVs yet, but they've got OLED paper technology in which you can print to it, hang it on the wall, and it's actually emitting light at nighttime with no power. I mean, that's what they stay the color at.
I just thought of a Christmas, tradition, the Nutcracker with the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies. Is that what the kind of? That's what I just thought of. Forgive me, my brain just took off. But I just thought of these lighted figures dancing around with no power.
Can we edit this part out? Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Thanks. We'll get that in post. So, OLED, if you can afford it, definitely more expensive, but the picture is even better. Richer colors, lower power consumption, so you can run 10 TVs.
Am
all
I
at once in
buying
your
these
house.
OLEDs currently?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So definitely look for an OLED or LED. You want that technology. Now, what about resolution? Right, so they have the old cool standard was 1080p. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have.
And so what that means is that 1,080 horizontal scan lines will make up that TV's picture. So that means that if you took that TV and you went from top to bottom, you could divide it into 1,080 slices.
But previous to 180, what was it?
Well,
Or
so
1080, I'm sorry,
So yeah,
1080.
so 1080p is 1,080 lines on the screen at the same time. Traditional TVs might have been from 250 to 500p. Right.
Okay. Crisper, clearer, cleaner.
Absolutely. Now, there's something called 1080i, which meant interlace, which meant that it would send 540 lines at once and then flip it quickly to another 540, so it was simulated. It was never good. It had a lot of wear and tear on your eyes watching it. 1080p is the way to go today. You can get 1080p TVs very inexpensively today. Don't get anything that's 720p. Don't do anything that's 1080i. Get your
I do remember
1080p
720s.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was pretty good, but 1080p for sure. If you can, get something called 4K. And so that means you've got 4,096 scan lines.
Yeah, but there was something between 1080 and 4K, wasn't there? What about HD? Is that talking about something completely different?
So 1080p, and then you go to 1920 by some other resolution, and that's HD.
Yep,
yeah, and that had a little bit of a lifespan there too, but definitely, the specs that are coming out with these TVs, go 1080p. If you can, get 4K, right? So 4K means there's much more resolution, but it also means that if you're watching, something that's not 4K capable, like an old DVD of the Wiggles, you're not going to get, it doesn't have that resolution to begin with. If the source doesn't, your TV can't do much about it.
You got to pick different shows, Sanjay. The Wiggles?
Wiggles are awesome.
We didn't watch the Wiggles.
And so beyond that, they have something the manufacturers are calling Ultra HD, which is really like 4K plus a whole bunch of great new colors and more vivid colors. So Sony has something. There's a version of Ultra HD.
There's a Samsung new one, right?
Samsung has it. So the total best you can get today is 4K or Ultra HD.
Okay.
And so those TV sets are going to be in the, depending, for a 55 to a 60 inch, you're in the $2,000 to $3,000 range.
So that's a high end, but for us Joes out there, Joe consumer that doesn't need to see every pimple on the baseball player's forehead as he's pitching, 1080 is pretty adequate, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, if you've got regular cable TV,
sure,
even HD cable TV, it'll look pretty good on 1080p.
Sure.
Go ahead and do that. Now, a couple of things we have to note, and we'll talk more about some other metrics when we get back from the break, but forget about the curved TVs.
I was going to ask you, I have a son that owns one.
No, it's a sorry that your son bought this.
Gotcha.
Which one is it?
My oldest. Yeah.
Very smart Mikey, right?
Yep.
Very smart guy. However, he may have been bamboozled a little bit because here's what happens. So I think my view, and I could be wrong, my view is that curved displays are going to be great when you're right in front of it, like a monitor for a computer, absolutely. But it limits viewing angle. It also causes some distortion as that curves when you're all sitting a few feet away. And the problem also is if you're not sitting in the middle of that curve and watching it, you're going to have a compromised experience. So I think over time we'll see that the market just doesn't support.
It shall uncurve, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just too much money for that. It's a cool little thing. People might like it, but it's not there. So anyway, we'll talk about that. Don't worry about the curves. And so when we come back from, for monitors anyway, or TVs, when we come back from the break, we'll talk about some other parameters you should look at when picking out a new big screen TV.
One of the things that I think is absolutely amazing about the whole TV marketplace, and I'm not sure how it transfigured over time, you have to explain that for me later, is that the prices of the flat screens have come down. And I actually heard a statistic that Target was selling on Black Friday or pre-Black Friday. They were selling like 3,000 TVs per second. Some insane number of sales. So you're truly in the minority if you don't have a flat screen these days.
Yeah, and you know what? The cycle of those things is pretty quickly. I had an LG TV I bought not even 4 years ago, and I couldn't get Amazon Prime working on it anymore because it had a smart TV function.
Yeah.
Called Amazon and they said, "Oh, your TV's almost 4 years old. We don't support that anymore." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's amazing.
My dad had his TV for 17 years.
That is amazing. So I still have one of those 17-year-old televisions. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. So we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back. Again, Mike Carswell and Sanjay Parker here on Tech Talk 2020. And hit us up on Twitter at Tech Talk 2020 or Facebook at Tech Talk 2020. We're on Facebook Live. And we will look forward to talking to you about televisions after the break here on 1330 AM WINT Radio and 101.5.
Pat O'Brien Chevrolet is your commercial truck headquarters. We have dump trucks, chassis cabs, pickups, cargo vans, flatbeds, every kind of truck for every kind of job. If you're a business owner looking for a truck, we got them. Come get them at Pat O'Brien Chevrolet.
Need a ride? Hop on. We'll drive. Lake Trend can take you to medical appointments, shopping, work, or college. We travel all over Lake County with many specialized services. Lake Trend can get you around with door-to-door dial-a-ride, local bus routes, and commuter service to Cleveland. Riding Lake Trend gets you where you need to go and saves you money, too. Check us out at laketrend.com or call 1-888-LAKE-TRAN. Join the 700,000 riders Lake Trend proudly served last year. Lake Trend. Need a lift? Hop on. We'll drive.
Don't you just love the fall in Northeast Ohio? Sunshine skies, gorgeous leaves, cool nights, and then, bam! Winter snowstorms. Be smart. You don't need to clear snow anymore, and don't risk being stuck in your house or inaccessible to visitors or safety vehicles. Call George Ward about their affordable snowplow packages. George and his crew are reliable and honest. With Ward's, you stop working and stop worrying. Call 440-942-1912. No work, no worries. Ward's.
Have you logged on to the all-new WINT Radio website lately? Be sure to go to WINTradio.com for daily updates on local and national news, sports, and entertainment reports. And while you're there, you can listen to WINT online and look over our broadcast schedule, or check out our air staff, or see our appearance and event schedules, or listen to your favorite show from our archives, or enter the birthday club for a chance to win daily prizes. There's lots to see and do at the all-new WINTradio.com.
Hi, it's Steve. Join Al and me at 7 a.m. with Chris Hallam previewing this Sunday's Willoughby Hills Winterfest. Dr. Alan S. Hillebrand explains how to prevent back and other injuries during the holidays and winter months, plus the News Herald's Mark Mazzoros on Integrity Radio WINT 101.5 FM and 1330 AM.
Welcome back to Tech Talk 2020 with Sanjay Parker. I'm Sanjay Parker here with my co-host Mike Carswell. Today we're talking about getting the right big screen TV set and understanding all the jargon and technology that goes along with it.
Hey guys, everybody out there who just bought a television over the Black Friday weekend, lift your left hand and wave it to the sky. I did not. But like I mentioned just before the break, I read or heard a statistic that Target, one of our nation's leading retailers, was 3,000 TVs a second. Well, Black Friday, how was your Black Friday?
Very peaceful. I stayed inside and watched movies and pretended I was sipping eggnog for the few days.
Not yet. Yeah. Not yet. Eggnog's not here yet. It's coming, though.
That's right.
Good old eggnog. Cool.
So we're talking about how to get through all the specs and tech and find out what really is a good deal in terms of your television sets. You can get TVs that are 50 inches for $200 or $300. You'll probably get technology that costs 5 or 6 times that just 2 years ago. So the pace of innovation within television is amazing, and that's because these things are lasting a while. So things that will outdate it, like I talked earlier on the show, is your smart TV will not become smart enough to continue its existence anymore because they stop updating the apps. Perhaps the size and quality has been innovated to the point where you envy that next type of TV. So you can get some really good TVs for a couple $100 in the 50 to 60 inch range. But if you're really looking for something that you'll at least enjoy for 4 years, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's really what we're looking at in today's technology. You want to get something that's 4K capable. You want to get something that is not curved. I think that's a waste of money.
Sure.
You want something that's LED or OLED technology. One thing about refresh rate, this is really important, and this is so hard to find even on online listings. Mike, you're on an online listing here for a couple of TVs on Walmart, and one of the most important things when you're watching motion is the refresh rate. That means not only how detailed is your picture, but how many times a second does that picture refresh itself. So if I'm watching, let's say, an orchestra.
Right there.
Yeah, soccer or something. Well, even something less with less motion. 60 hertz, which means that screen refreshes 60 times per second. That seems like a lot. That's pretty good.
Sure.
But if we're watching a golf ball travel or a baseball be hit or lots of motion and activity like a car chase scene, a lot of that stuff could get blurry unless I'm using something called, something that's 120 hertz. You need twice that.
You know what's kind of interesting is that now you can dissect it. It's almost, I feel like I'm watching a cooking show. You know, when the most of the meals that I eat, you know, that I conspire. I mean, I put a meal together today. I had some chicken, okay, some spinach. I had some Alfredo, fresh tomato.
Okay.
And, you know, a little bit of garlic and then everything. And I kind of warmed them up together in a pan. And that's a Mike Carswell, hello, I'm happy you're eating deal.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure if some of the chefs from the Food Network had my meal, they would have cut it up and said, this is bad and that's bad, where 99% of us would have eaten it. What I'm driving to is that sometimes with technology, as far as a television is concerned, if you're viewing pleasure, dude, we were so happy to sit around and watch The Little Rascals and Three Stooges when I was a kid on that black and white television at Grandma's house.
Yep.
So are we spoiled?
We are, and you know,
Okay.
we're being marketed to, right?
Okay, yep.
Why buy new TV if it still works? Well, because I want a better experience. I don't want motion blur. So
Motion blur.
try to get 120 hertz. True. Don't look at 120 hertz interlaced or 120 hertz implied. Make sure it really is 120 hertz. This will give you a little bit of future proofing for
Gotcha.
a few years. So think about that as well. It's hard to find that spec. Even if it says 120, it might be something that's a simulated 120. So that's something that you'll typically lose when you go to the lower end TV sets.
Gotcha.
Now, things like contrast ratio, all that stuff, who cares? You know, those aren't standard. You don't really have to worry about that. But let's talk about a smart TV.
Yeah, I learn more about smart TVs because I'm trying to be smarter. We're getting smarter together, right? But a couple of years ago at a couple trade shows, it was really cool, excuse me, that we were giving away a 40-inch flat screen television that was a smart TV, and people were just clamoring to get that free television, which I thought was cool because I would show my display and my demonstration of our products on that screen, and then at the end of the show, I'd raffle it off. So that was admirable. I was the only one giving away a television. That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very smart.
Everybody could use those.
It's true because of all of the content.
You got it.
Speaking of content, I think it's a waste that companies are putting smart functionality into their TVs. I wish they wouldn't do it. TVs are not fast enough. TVs are not powerful enough to have the processing on board. They are not supported from the manufacturers. In fact, LG sold a ton of smart TVs, but they went to a new model and a new set of operating system parameters, and they stopped supporting their old one. That was just, like I said, less than 4 years ago.
It was obsolete.
Yeah, there's $39 devices that you can buy. You know, a Rock you can get a $39 Fire TV stick that's way better and way more capable to add smart TV and to be supported on your device. So most people are finding that their DVD players are smart, their TVs are smart, they've got add-on devices, their cable boxes are smart. None of this is really smart if you're not taking advantage of it. So I wish they would stop putting smartness in TVs, but they're going to continue doing it for a while. People are sold to it, and we'll see where that goes. But my advice to you is don't worry about how smart your TV is. Get a smart device like a Amazon Fire TV or an Apple TV. Each of those are less than $79, and they're way better than any smart TV capability you can buy on the market, even on these $15,000 TVs.
Well, I got to tell you, Sanjay, I'm a TV potential purchaser. You know, I made this promise to myself that once everybody was graduated, I got everybody through high school, I was going to buy myself a 60-inch flat screen and throw it up in the den in the house, much to the demise of my wife. But you know, she's let me have something every now and again. But let me ask you this: I want to say probably the room itself is about 15 by 18. It's a nice sized room. Some people can get a flat screen television, and I've walked by homes and I've just seen this illumination beyond compare because probably it's in a room too small.
Yeah.
What do you know about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so there's goodness, I just read this a couple of days ago. There is a metric that you should use for TVs, so it's different.
We'll put it on our Facebook page if you don't remember.
Yeah. Roughly a 1080p device, you measure the height from the top of the TV to the bottom of the TV. You multiply it by 6. And that's the ideal sitting distance.
Okay.
And for a 4K TV, you can actually sit closer. That distance is 3 times the height of the television itself.
Wow.
Because you want to see more detail being closer. Now, here's the other thing. If you get a 1080p TV and you have a 50-inch TV and you have a 90-inch TV, and if they're both 1080p, tell me what you're going to experience differently.
Well, first of all, this is the first time in my life I ever heard of a 90-inch TV. They're 90 inches now?
My brother just got an 85-inch TV.
Oh, my word. Wow. Well, Even Sean's shaking his head at that, man. So
Yeah.
okay.
Hashtag
so
excess.
You're asking me what now? What's the?
So you have a 10. Here's a key thing to think about.
Okay.
Just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not key. It's just fun. You have a 1080p TV.
Yep.
Or even a 4K TV, whatever it is. You have one at 50 inches and one at, let's say, 100 inches. Let's go 100. It's double. When you look at those two TVs, since they are the same resolution, that big TV is not going to look nearly as crisp as that small TV.
Okay, I got
because
you. Right.
there's only so many little pixels. Now, on that big TV, the pixels are bigger.
Yes.
Right?
I'm with you.
So you don't see as much crispness, right? That's why these smaller, don't go crazy on the TV size.
Like your brother
unless
did.
you're going to get 4K. Yeah, even the 4K at 85 inches doesn't stun like, a 60-inch TV on 4K would.
But you got to be in the right room as well. I'm thinking that the distance.
He's got a
from the
big room. So
see, I'm looking at a TV that's going to be just far enough for me to fall asleep in front of. So, I'm 6'5" and a half. So, I'm just kidding. But because I'll be sleeping.
Right.
But it's an awesome thing or it's something to think about. The size of the room that you're in. I wonder if a lot of people don't consider that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some homes I've gone by, man, and it just seems like there's a nuclear war going on inside your living room. But then I drive by, they're just watching something on television.
Right. Well, think. Speaking of nuclear war and all the sounds associated with war.
Sure.
Right. Do you remember the last time you went into like a Best Buy or somewhere and you listened to the speakers on these new TVs?
Amazing stuff.
They're horrible.
Oh, no, wait. I said amazing because I'm surrounded by them and I've got all these
amazing
not
visuals.
The features, not television itself, but the speakers that are the ones that are providing
the built-in ones are garbage. So
Okay.
as these televisions have gotten thinner and lighter, the speakers have suffered. Don't expect to buy a nice new TV and have good sound out of it. Expect to buy a sound bar. There's lots of great options. Just, $100 or $200 or $300 if you want a subwoofer for really good stuff, or buy a home theater system to put it in. Don't worry about the speakers or understanding what they do on these TVs. They're horrible. Unless you're the only person in a very quiet room right in front of the TV, it will not suffice.
Well, I'm a crusty old guy. So crusty old guys have crusty old things. And you mentioned earlier my Sony Trinitron.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even want to tell you how much I paid for it because it's less than a pair of shoes. But the cool part is that the sound on that is dynamic.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a 36-inch television. It fits my room just fine.
Because it has a bigger resonance chamber for those speakers. And
you're
we
right.
don't have that luxury anymore because everybody wants this thing glued to their wall 1 inch out, right? So we don't have that opportunity.
Sure.
Hey, but check this out. One last thing on the TVs.
Yep.
You might be prompted or asked to buy an extended warranty. Don't worry about that. Sometimes your credit card provides it anyway. Plus, the pace of this technology after the manufacturer's warranty, this stuff is not worth that much anyway with technology. I mean, 1 year, it's going to be worth literally half of what it originally was, and then it goes exponentially after that until nobody will even pick it up from your front porch, including donation companies. Horrible.
So the status of used car or buying a car, a brand new car, the price is going to drop significantly in value once you drive it off the lot. So once you carry that TV home, crack it up and crank it on.
Technology innovation is brutal.
Goes down. Well, I mean, it's brutal, but it's also convenient and it's attractive and all those other things for now.
Yep.
You're going to tell me real quick before we go here, when is the best time to buy a television? My birthday's in February.
Right before Super Bowl Sunday. The week before is when you'll see the best deals on Amazon. You'll see the manufacturer incentives.
First week of
Getting rid
February,
of old
guys.
stock. First week of February.
That's the Super Bowl.
Do it.
My birthday's the second week. So just
there are
keep
some
that in
cool
mind.
deals before Christmas, but by far the best time is right before Super Bowl Sunday.
All right. Hey, we got smarter together here for about a half an hour talking about televisions. And all of you guys have one. At least most of you do. Correct? How many do you have in your home?
Just a few. But
we'll save that for our next conversation. Thanks for tuning in to Tech Talk 2020. Mike Carswell, Sanjay Parker here. And again, hit us up on Facebook, Tech Talk 2020. Also on our Twitter handle, tweet at us if you got some TV advice. We'll eat it up and we appreciate it here on 1330 AM, WINT Integrity Radio and 101.5 FM.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.